Hello, welcome to another video on the BMW then. Today I'm going to be taking the wheels off, having a bit of a check over of them, and I'm going to explain a bit later on how the plans I've had for these wheels have been scuppered.
I started off by putting the bike into 5th gear and by using a breaker bar with a 17mm socket on the end, got to work just loosening off the bolts. It's worth mentioning at this point that I didn't want to remove the brake caliper because I may have needed it to hold the wheel in place if I couldn't undo these bolts. I then moved on to the guard removal, where I used a 4mm Allen key to remove the small screw and then used a 5mm Allen key to remove the 2 remaining screws. And with the guard now out of the way, I put the screws back in their holes so that they don't get lost. Using an 8mm Allen key, I then removed the 2 screws from the brake caliper, and then I moved the caliper out of the way so that I could remove the wheel. The wheel nuts are all hand tight because I'd loosened them off, so I just used the 17mm socket to turn them all out, and then I put the nuts and the collars that are attached safely out of sight.
With the wheel off then, I've been able to carry out a nice deep inspection without an exhaust and a power lever getting in the way. And that's all I pretty much did, was I worked from the outside in. Nice and easy, both sides, dead simple for anybody to do. Starting off with the tyre, just making sure it's not squared off. Make sure there's no gouges or any cuts within the tread, and if there are, obviously making sure they're not too bad. The tread depth itself is fine also, and it's not leaking air, it's still holding air from when I first had the bike, so can't fault it whatsoever. Tyres stay in. Moving on to the rim is looking good as well. There's no deep scrapes, scratches, no dents, and there's certainly no cracks in it. So it just needs a bit of a clean up to make it a nice shiny metal, and I'd be happy with that. Sadly, the spokes are where it starts going wrong, and that's because they're all starting to rust. And it seems the closer to the hub they get, the rustier they get. So that's something that I would like to deal with, and it's something I wanted to deal with in this video, but I'll talk about that in a bit. The nipples as well, the nipples are starting to rust. In fact, some of them are really rusty, and again, they would need changing in the future, but at the minute they're fine, they're not breaking down, they're just a rusty colour and that's it. The hub is where it looks the worst, and that's because the paint is coming off it, it's all bubbling. Looks absolutely dreadful, but the good thing with that is when you peel the paint away, it reveals a nice smooth surface underneath, which means if I was to get these to a powder coaters, they could strip them down and build them back up, make them look really nice, and then, you know, with new spokes, new nipples, shiny rim, it'd be a fantastic wheel to look at. But unfortunately, I can't do that.
And the reason for that is due to the unique design of the wheel and the spokes. Wheel service must be performed at a BMW dealership as a special fixture is required. Each spoke has a 4mm set screw located inside the end of each spoke nipple. This set screw applies pressure to the spoke and nipple threads and keeps the spoke from working loose.
So unfortunately, I won't be playing with any of this stuff like I planned. I was going to buy new spokes, new nipples, get this powder coated and then put it back together myself, but I haven't got the tools or equipment to do with whatever BMW does to the wheels. So unfortunately, that brings this video to an end. I'll be back with another video next week where I start to look into the braking system of the bike. So thanks very much for watching.